All right, I'll say greetings and welcome this evening of your time as you create time to exist. How are you all? Oh, thank you very much. Apparently alive and well and perfect, believe me. Allow me to begin with the entitlement, trusting your timing. Interesting and perhaps apropos for what many of you are choosing to experience in your reality at this time. Allow me to begin by simply reminding you all that you do in fact create your life, and one step further, you do in fact create your own reality. Perhaps this has become a catchphrase in your society. However, it is quite accurate, for it is, in that sense, one experience that you can choose to explore consciously rather than half-consciously and unconsciously altogether. For create it you do, regardless of whether you choose to take the responsibility to do so consciously or not. So perhaps if you will say, if I created my own reality, why would I have created this life? Then you may understand that by and far your creations have stemmed from your unconscious creation, and what we are beginning to share with you is the willingness to become conscious, the willingness to take back the power and responsibility of creating your reality, but perhaps according to preference and integrity, for these are ideas that allow you to express who you are in no uncertain terms. So allow us to again remind you that you always trust in something. Trust is the expression of a belief, akin to the idea you refer to as faith. So trust is not something in that sense that you need to build up, muster up. For when you are saying that you are not having faith or not trusting in something, what is actually occurring is you are having faith or are trusting in the complete opposite. Always do you trust in something, and therefore simply identifying where you have placed your trust allows you to see whether or not that is where you wish to place it. And simply shifting that trust according to preference can be quite simple. Understand, what you call your reality exists within what you call a time frame. You sometimes speak about being a soul or having a soul. However, being a soul is more accurate. For a soul is not something within you. A soul is what you are within, so to speak. A soul does not reside in your body. You can experience that apparency, but more accurately, your body resides within your soul. Your soul, or your essence, or your higher self, or whatever you wish to call it, is an infinite, multi-dimensional, and eternal expression. Therefore, it is timeless, it is ageless, it is spaceless in its pristine form. What you call time, what you call space, exists within the infinity of your soul or of your higher self. So time and timing is an expression that exists within your soul, which is a timeless creation. Now, why would you do this? Good question. Being that you are an infinite being, you explore an infinite number of possibilities. One of those possibilities, which may express in a multiple of ways, is to express yourself as a finite being. Finite can be defined as perhaps in your terminology having a beginning, middle, and end, so to speak. It is a seeming progression, a seeming beginning with so-called nothing, acquiring knowledge, acquiring experience, and so to speak, ending up larger than you, in that sense, began. But since you are infinite, this is only one minute expression within your totality. It is only one choice. When you make that choice, you choose to experience your infinity in a line, in a linear fashion, seemingly one thing at a time unfolding. And this is what you refer to as your time frame. When you create space, you are creating a finite idea within the infinity of your being. And in order to move across, so to speak, space, you create time in order to do so. This is why even your scientists are understanding that rather than space and time being two things, they now refer to space-time as two sides of one coin. Therefore, when you experience in the infinity space, which is finite, you then create time in which to again move through it, move across it. One other idea, when you are in your natural state, an infinite, eternal, multidimensional, all-knowing being, there is actually a certain idea that you cannot experience. When you know it all already, there is not the idea within that all-knowingness of discovery, of experiencing things as if for the first time, which, by the way, many of you say you like. And also the idea you call surprise. How could anything surprise you if you always know it's coming? So one of the fundamental reasons to create a linear frame of reference is to experience things as if, in that sense, you begin as a blank slate. And then, by elaborately playing an amnesia, so to speak, on your all-knowingness, can then seem to experience things with the joy of discovery, with the apparency of the first time. Even in your vernacular, even in your planetary society, you enjoy not knowing what is going to occur when you go to, say, your movies. For in that sense, you have the joy of seeing how it will play out. From the multiplicity of possibilities, you will see how one particular version will play out and enjoy being surprised by it. This is one, shall I say, microcosmic analogy to your entire life. The idea of unfolding as if you are actually experiencing things for the first time. Now, many of you view this as a curse, but you may also understand, now that I have mentioned it, now that you are entertaining the notion that you have chosen on some level to do this, that seeming amnesia only exists from where you are sitting, from your standpoint right now. From the perspective of your higher self, your soul, your oversoul, whatever you wish to call it, you already know what you are doing. You already are playing out a set of choices, so to speak, that you have laid down. So nothing occurs that is outside of your consciousness, outside of your being. Your consciousness is your infinite knowingness. What you refer to on your planet as your mentality is your finite version of knowingness. So you experience your mentality as an unfoldment. And from this perspective, it seems quite real. It seems like this is the only reality. This is the only, many times individuals will say, planet with intelligent life. Not true. And you may understand that that is a very narrow point of view. By excluding 99.9999, so on and so forth, % of reality, you focus in on a very fine fractionated portion of your totality. You may feel that seeing, thinking, hearing, smelling, feeling one thing at a time is the normal mode of operation. But from your higher self perspective, it is a unique experience, for your higher self has the ability to understand an infinite number of things at once. So therefore, one thing at a time is actually the exception rather than the rule. How you set up your reality here, so to speak, is by seeming as though one thing at a time is the rule and playing that sense, that fine ability to focus down to one thing at a time. These are all built into the reasoning of your higher self for experiencing this type of reality. Now, the sense of amnesia that you impose upon yourself is so pervasive, is so all-inclusive, that you have conveniently, perhaps some of you will experience that inconveniently, forgotten even why you're here. But obviously, you are now beginning to allow yourself to attract the resources through whatever you read, whatever you find yourself attracted to, interactions such as this, to remind yourself through reflections, through a mirror. I am only a mirror within your own consciousness, that these other ideas are so, effectively beginning to lift your amnesia. Again, along a timeline, an unfoldment, a bit at a time. Your timing is always impeccable. Impeccable. It cannot be otherwise. It is always that where you are right here, right now, the only place and time you ever experience is always the most perfect place in the entirety of your being. I believe this is another little minor fact you may have forgotten. Therefore, you will often create your reality as going somewhere a whole lot better than right here, which is in a sense only an idea. For you are the one who has determined that right here and right now is not the perfect place and time. When you assign that meaning, needless to say, you get that effect. And constantly are you going somewhere, never quite being where you are. Where you are is always unique. Where you are always has advantages that any other place you seem to go, and I am speaking in your own linear terms, will not contain. So every here and now has a unique advantage. And your willingness to simply remind yourself of this is perhaps one of the first steps to beginning to see or beginning to allow yourself to examine what is right in front of your face. Always does a moment contain a unique advantage. Remember that, unless you choose to forget it. When I say you are always trusting in something, I mean it. For trust is one of the mechanisms that your mentality utilizes to hold your reality in place. So if you trust, or if you do not trust, for instance, in the statement, I get what I want, one way to look at it is that you don't have faith or trust that you get what you want. But perhaps another more efficacious or more advantageous way to look at it is that you are trusting that you do not get what you want. So it is not a matter of building up trust that you do get what you want. It is a matter of identifying and acknowledging where you are already placing your trust, which in general, there is some under or overtone in many individuals that you get what you are dealt. However, that is not the only way to look at it. When you look at anything from a particular trust level, you experience the results of that trust. You always get the evidence for whatever you are trusting in. And trusting in I do not get what I want, again, perhaps some of you will be familiar with some of the results of that type of trust. Rather than once again building up through processes and exercise and mental strain, trust that you do get what you want, first acknowledge where your trust is. Allow me to say, from my experience, which in no way is in any way, shape, or form better than your own, simply different, that I know that I get what I want. Therefore, I get what I want. I know that I will get it if I continue to want it. And I know something else. I know that I will not get it one moment sooner than I can handle it and explore it fully. I also know I will not get it one moment later. How refreshing. The idea is this: timing can be used to your own advantage. When you quote unquote begin to sense that you desire or want something, obviously it is either available in that moment that you are thinking and pondering it, or it is not. Plain and simple. I think you will agree with me on that one. If it is available, obviously it is simply a matter of doing that thing and reaping that result. If it is not available, you get a choice. You can use the fact that it's not available as evidence that it never will be and give up. Or you can understand that the fact that it's not available means, even though you may think you are ready for it, obviously through the feedback of your reality, the universe is telling you, you may think you're ready for it, but you can enjoy and explore it far more favorably and fully when first you attract along your linear timeline certain other ideas, certain knowledge, which may then allow you to experience and enjoy that thing more fully. Certain resources that will allow you to attract and live out that reality more fully. So the first thing in beginning to express getting what you want is trusting the timing, understanding that you choose to trust that you do get what you want. Trusting the timing goes something like this. I am very excited about this particular thing. Is it available? Yes or no? Yes, I do it. No. Well, I'm still excited about it, but it's not available. Continuing to obsess on that point when it is not available actually distracts you from something else. What is that something else? The unique advantage available in this moment. If you are using or experiencing this moment to wish that you were at that moment, you are doing so at the cost of what is right in front of you. If you are willing to remind yourself, I now choose to express that I get what I want, and this is not available, and I still want it, you can push it aside. Push it out of your view, maintaining it as a clear intention. I intend to do this whenever it comes up, no matter what. But once you push it aside with the assurance of that intention, you then remove the obstruction that you place in your vision of what is right in front of you, the unique advantage of the moment you are within. Now, needless to say, this is an approach. It is a viewpoint. It is no better. It is not superior than any other viewpoint you have taken. But it is, however, as simple as any other viewpoint you have taken. For it is simply a matter of not being willing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And you deserve what you desire. When you push aside your clear intention because it is not available, there is a very interesting methodology that you can follow to actually get to that thing more quickly. And that is, again, by pushing it aside and seeing what's there, using your excitement, using your passion from what is there, and choosing the option that is there, that excites you the most, that you can act upon with your integrity. Now, that option may seem to have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with that desire, that want, that clear intention. But the fact that you desire it more than anything else that's available, the fact that it excites you more than anything else that is available, and the fact that that clear intention excites you means they have the excitement in common. And the excitement that you express is your particular unique expression of who you are from what's available. So the fact that something excites you in a given moment, though it may situationally seem to have nothing to do with that clear intention that is not available in that moment, tells you in no uncertain terms it is related to that clear intention. Therefore, when you ground yourself to the moment, when you explore and allow yourself, by pushing away everything that's not available, to explore what is available, you begin to use the unique advantages that each moment has to offer. And the only thing that you are doing is choosing to view your reality from this perspective and doing that thing. If you are acting upon what excites you with integrity, then you cannot, in the process, harm anyone else, harm yourself. For integrity, and I do not mean this from your general moral term integrity, which is quite subjective and quite variable from group to group upon your planet. I mean integrity as it stems from the word integrated whole. Remember, you are an infinite being, seeming or choosing to seem to exist within a reality. But again, as I have said and will now expand upon, the reality exists within you. The paradox is that it exists within each and every one of you. And though it would seem like this could not be possible, now you are getting the idea of an infinite concept where each one of you will experience that all of reality exists within them, including all the others in the room, including the entire planet. But this seeming inconsistency, again, is more of an infinite concept. However, again, you can use it by understanding that the reality exists within you. You can understand that anything within the reality is part of one integrated whole. And everything that you interact with is a reflection within the integrated whole of your consciousness, telling you something about yourself, about what you are choosing from the finite point of view to explore. So therefore, I assume if you will recognize the integration of all reality, that your actions will reflect the respect that anything that you are interacting with is not separate from you, but is part of you. So integrity is simply acting according to that respect for everything within you. The respect for your agreements, the respect in that sense for the interactions that you choose to co-create with other individuals. One other way to look at integrity, well, is this particular option, can I act upon it with integrity, is to again superimpose any individuals that you are dealing with upon yourself. Perhaps going something like, well, if that were me, would I like it if someone did that or interacted with me in that way? Perhaps one of your phraseologies upon your planet, to simplify this, is doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. Following that simple guideline always expresses your integrity, for it always treats everything within you, everyone within you, every situation within you, as though it is you. And you treat yourself and every aspect of yourself with that same respect. So if you are able to act upon an exciting prospect with integrity, no harm done. for you are treating your reality with the respect it deserves, and you are honoring the expression of your excitement, which is the expression, once again, of who you are. Why does something excite you? You in particular. Everyone is excited about something slightly different. Some people may overlap and share exciting notions, but each excitement expression is unique because that is the unique indication that your reality gives you that from what's available, this option is most me. That is what excitement is. It is the vibration, the compass, the barometer that tells you this is me. Now, if this is me and you can act upon it with integrity, do so. If this particular option is most exciting, but perhaps in the situation, doing that at this time would obviously not be within your integrity, push that aside. Do not fixate or obsess upon that. The criteria is excitement, but it is excitement with integrity. Now, again, if you cannot act upon a particular option with integrity, push that aside, perhaps in the same space as your clear intention. But move it out of the way, because if you cannot act upon it with integrity, it is not an option for you. And when you push it aside rather than keep it there, you move it out of your way and allow yourself to see what may be just right behind it. Again, another unique option, a unique advantage in a given moment. So if you can act upon it with integrity, do so. If not, push it aside. See what's still right in front of your face. Choose the thing that excites you the most from what is available and act upon that with integrity, if again, that is an option. Doing this and maintaining your desire, if you wish to call it your clear intention, the thing that you want, is all that it takes to continue to be who you are, to interact with your reality with integrity, and to finally experience the thing you say you want. But when you are in a moment where the thing that you want is an option, because you have gone through many of these other experiences, you are now more equipped to explore that exciting thing most fully. After you establish that exciting thing as a clear intention, the timing, the lack of it being in a moment, once again allows you to begin to accumulate through experience resources and knowledge that will enable you, no matter what you say right now, to enjoy that thing more fully than you can even imagine you could enjoy it right now. All this is a matter of taking the trust that many of you place in the fact that things never work out and life is random, to the empowering point of view that you get what you want, perhaps at first, not when you think you want it. But if you still want it and get it, what's the difference? And if you begin not to want it and don't get it, what's the difference? The point is, generally you will find you will maintain that desire, that excitement. And you will, through a series of astounding coincidences, things coming from all different directions you never expected, attract resources, individuals, timing, knowledge, equipment, that will then place you in a moment where that thing that you have said you desire is one of the options that you can act upon with integrity. This, in a nutshell, is trusting your timing. And each time that you do not take this approach, you are trusting that there is no timing, that you do not get what you want, and therefore you get the evidence or the effect of there being no seeming intelligence to the timing, and that you do not get what you want, except once in a while when you get lucky. But understand, you can experience what I am saying. And obviously, seeing what's right in front of your face, concentrating your attention in what's right there, choosing with your excitement, the most exciting thing, acting upon it with integrity, is no big deal, as you say. It is simple. It is fun. It is effortless. Acting upon the things that excite you with integrity takes no effort, produces no struggle. Therefore, if it is available, now's the time. As you say, go for it. If it is not, you still get what you want. Allow that to roll around in your mentality. Allow this approach to be sampled by you if you so desire. Obviously, the way that you create your own reality right now is flawless, for your reality is ongoing. You experience it. However, perhaps the idea of consciously creating your life, of creating according to preference, may just appeal to you. I don't know. Maybe it will. But what we have found in our society, what we have found from our experience, is that we will settle for nothing less. And the mechanism is flawless. When you follow your excitement with integrity in the moment, what's available right here, right now, you begin to create new effects. As you act upon something that excites you, there is a result. That result puts a new thing into the options that wouldn't have been there before. And so something that excites you in this moment, though it may seem to have nothing to do with the most exciting thing, is by definition a stepping stone that literally creates the next stone, and so on and so forth. Everything is related, one integrated whole. This is you. This is your reality. This is one option of how you can live your life. When you do so, you begin to experience your life in an effortless way. You begin to experience what you call ecstasy, for everything is an effortless, conscious creation. When you do so, not only do you change, your life changes, and miraculously so does everyone around you seem to change. Your new approach, by the way, becomes quite contagious. Individuals seeing another individual living in this way, validating themselves, using and choosing from their excitement, get attracted to this idea because they see that it works as well as the disempowering notions you are already, in that sense, implementing. It all works. It is simply a matter of choosing which one you want. You get what you want. One thing that we sometimes share with you is the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth, Elan? Please tell me. All right, I will. The ultimate truth, to ultimately be the truth, leaves nothing out. The ultimate truth must. Now listen up. If you choose to sleep, wake up now. The ultimate truth must be composed of all truths. Leave one out and it is almost the ultimate truth. Therefore, all truths must exist within the ultimate truth. What this means is that all truths, all beliefs, all approaches are valid. Now, obviously, being a being that chooses one thing at a time, you cannot choose all truths. And some truths may actually seem to contradict one another. But that does not make one right and one wrong. That makes both the truth for the individuals expressing and exploring that truth. Your willingness to begin to get a feel of the fact that all truths are true for the individuals choosing to create them takes the burden off your shoulder of having to convert everyone over to your truth. And believe me, your neck and shoulders will feel better when you remove that weight from yourself. The bottom line is, it is, in a sense, a futile effort to assume that your truth is the only truth and that's it. For then you miss out on all the other options. One other way to look at this is that my truth is a truth. It is the truth that I am choosing to explore. I have my reasoning for exploring this truth. Certainly I have my right to explore any truth I wish. Why not consider affording that attitude to everyone else's truth? Well, their truth may be at odds with my truth, but they have their own reason. And because I wish to express that I have the right to express my truth, well, obviously, even though their truth may look misguided to my truth, they have the right to explore that truth as well. Simply removing the notion that a truth is the only way and replacing it with the notion that a truth is a way can begin to lubricate the friction that individuals create upon your planet in interacting with each other. You can validate everyone else's truth and can even do so without condoning it. Condoning someone's truth, by the way, is not validating. It is not saying, well, you have the right and reason to believe that. Condoning someone else's truth is you acting according to their truth. Well, I'll show them how that feels. You are being them when you show them that. You are expressing their truth and proving to them that their truth absolutely works as well. All truths are valid. All truths work. All belief systems are complete packages. And they carry with them their own set of evidence, their own set of results, even if they seem completely opposite. So beginning to expand your version of the ultimate truth to include all other truths can even allow you to come face to face with an individual saying their way is the only way and still allowing their way to be valid even though you choose to act according to your way. In other words, their truth may not encompass yours, but yours can always continue to encompass theirs. And this beginning on any individual level is all it takes to begin to expand out level by level, person by person upon your planet. The bulk of struggle and conflict that occurs upon your planet is when an ideology or philosophy builds into its doctrine, this is the only way and anything else stinks, get out of here. That is only one perspective. Obviously, then, they do not allow themselves to have as many options to choose from. When you simply allow that to be converted to the statement that this is a truth, a very valid truth, it works. If you are attracted to it, come here, I will share it with you. If not, go along your way, you will find your own truth. If everyone upon your planet were to tomorrow embrace this idea, what you call war would cease. And what you would begin to understand, as we have understood as a society, is that there can actually be strength and unity in diversity. And the truths that insist that all other truths have no right to be there will generally create realities whereby they will in some way eradicate their existence in your reality, for that becomes inconsistent with your expression. Negative individuals who will choose to explore negativity will always get the results of their negativity. But that is none of your concern, your business, so to speak. For your business and concern is your truth in terms of expressing it, but willingness to embrace all possibilities allows you to live as an expanded being rather than a contracted one. In almost every instance, if not every instance, were you to at least assume for a moment that some particular truth which seems to be quite bigoted, quite disempowering, for one moment you could simply imagine how one might feel that way. You will see perhaps just a glimmer, that you can picture how someone would be that way. Therefore, that gives you the compassion to understand that though you may not choose to be that way, they have the right and reason. And by showing them, you reinforce their reality. By maintaining who you are, allowing them to be who they are, but not condoning their actions by expressing who you are, you show them another possibility. When you give someone back what they're giving, you reinforce their reality. When you show them the alternative, you give them another choice. It is not your business to decide whether or not they will take that choice, but often you will find individuals do not really wish to remain disempowered, do not really wish to think that reality is crumbling all around them, do not really wish to think they are unloved and judged from without and from within. The only way you can even come close to being able to provide to a disempowered individual any sense of service is by expressing your own empowerment. That shows them at least it's possible. Here's a living example. Now again, that is not your job. That will simply be an automatic result. Compassion need not be sympathy. Compassion can be your honoring of their power, of their ability to create, of their ability when creating a circumstance to handle the results of that circumstance. If you can assist, by all means do, but if you cannot, at least acknowledge and respect their sovereignty, their creatorhood. Perhaps again, they are creating from a disempowered perspective, but they are just as flawlessly creating. You are perfect creators. Perfect. Therefore, when you choose misery and strife, you create perfect misery and strife. But that is no less a perfect creation. It may be to you a less preferred creation. And that's why you can change your perspective. You cannot be responsible for anyone else, only to them by being willing to be responsible for yourself in expressing who you are. Which brings me back once again to your excitement and your trust in your timing. If something is not available, you always have the choice to say, well, since it's not available, I don't get it. I never get what I want, and so on and so forth. Or you have the ability to say, I thought that I was really ready for this, but apparently I am only ready to begin to look at desiring this. And boy, am I now very excited, because if I will even enjoy this more than I am imagining, I'll wait. If you assume, if you simply take the perspective that you get what you want and that is a given, then let it go. If you know you're going to get the thing that you want, what else is there left to do but enjoy yourself from now till then? You definitely get it. That is one way, one truth, one perspective that you can, if you wish, embrace. Therefore, timing is impeccable. Timing is flawless. You have an expression, oh, here is an idea who has come before its time. No. The mere statement of that idea tells you it is time. And conversely, the mere unavailability tells you it's not time. You get what you want if you allow yourself to assume and insist that this is so. Because you create in an unfolding manner, you do not allow yourself purposefully, I may add, to see how everything will play out. If you did, you'd lose the discovery. You'd lose the surprise. You'd lose the, everyone knows the first time is the best time. By the way, that is not necessarily true, but I understand the perspective. The first time is uniquely one experience. And then any other time you do it is actually, again, the first time. However, with a little bit of knowledge. So you can also look at it that way. I thank you for your willingness to attract yourself to this interaction, for it is no less an expression of your timing. It is no accident that you are here in the timing that you are, and those of you who are interacting and creating and co-creating this interaction with me in other formats, what you call your tape format and so forth, your timing is just as on. If you are not physically able to be here, trust your timing. You will see perhaps why. By the way, before I begin to open up, most of the time, you will see why the timing was so. Once in a while, you will not. Big deal. That is part of the discovery and the surprise. You know what you need to know when you need to know it, if you simply acknowledge that. I therefore thank you for sharing this timing with me, for co-creating this interaction in a timing whereby we can co-create an interaction of this nature. In return for your willingness to create this timing with me, I ask you now how we may mutually be of service to each other. Sharing. Ace.
I have to thank you for everything you said. It was wonderful.
Well, I thank you for saying it through me, allowing me to mirror it back to you. For you can only experience something if you first contain it.
Yes, but I also want to thank you for the interaction that we had. It has been monumental in helping me with some transitions, and it's just been incredible.
Allow me, before you proceed, to remind you that it has been as monumental for me. I have just as much to learn from each and every one of you. I know you are an extension of me. I know from my perspective, you exist within me. And therefore, the more aware I become of you, the more I know of myself. I thank you for this gift.
Welcome. Now to get to what you were talking about tonight, the one part of it that I'm having difficulty understanding is, or putting into action, is when something excites me, and there are lots of things that are exciting me these days.
One moment. Can you all hear this individual?
Oh.
Please speak up, be bold, so that all may share your gift.
Okay. There are many things that are exciting me that are coming into my life that are very exciting.
All right.
And my difficulty seems to be, I feel the excitement, and then fear steps in. And so I'm trying to understand where doing it with integrity and fear, it's getting confused. It feels right, it feels great, but then, I'm scared. So
can you phrase, since fear in general is a belief, a trust that something that you do not prefer will be most likely, can you define more pointedly what you fear? In other words, just to reiterate for those unable to hear, this individual will sometimes see an option that is quite exciting and have a fear emotion toward the moving in that direction. What is the nature of the fear? What do you believe could happen that you do not prefer by expressing who you are?
Well, I'll fail.
All right. How is that possible?
I'll make a fool of myself.
What is failure? Is failure not having the result that you wish?
Yes, okay.
Why is that failure? Because as we have said, if the result is not a result that you wish, but you still want that result, you still get it. And obviously timing is coming into play.
Would you repeat that?
If you are fearing that you will, in acting upon an exciting thing, not get the result, but you understand that if you do not get the result, you still want the result and can push it aside as a clear intention and move forth, how can you ever really fail unless you sell out the intention or the desire?
Well, it's not the failure. Let's say it's the experience of feeling foolish in the moment.
To whom?
Myself.
Who is watching you?
Myself.
How can you feel foolish to yourself? Are you judging yourself?
Yes.
Why?
Feels comfortable.
Now, I assume that is not so. I assume you are speaking to me about it because it is quite uncomfortable.
But it's familiar.
Well, I'm getting somewhere with this.
Okay.
What is judgment to you? What is self-judgment?
Not.
Allow me to answer the question. Not unconditionally loving yourself. If you unconditionally love yourself, if you entertain the notion of removing any conditions and just insisting, I love myself no matter what, then judgment does not come into play. Judgment is the imposition of a set of conditions, which when you then do not meet, you judge yourself to somehow be less because you have not met conditions, but the only one laying down the conditions is you. So therefore, simply restating that I am simply unwilling to not love myself no matter what can remove this mechanism and can allow you to see, this excites me. I deserve this. I'm going to do this. I can act upon it with integrity, no matter what the outcome. Then you will begin to see that you will step and do something, have a result, and there will be no judgment, because whether or not that result is what you expect, it will be a pleasant, advantageous result. You are utilizing conditional self-love as a form of self-paralysis. Remove the conditions, insist you will love yourself no matter what, and simply take what is sometimes referred to, and perhaps is now the timing, as that leap of trust, that leap of faith. All right, I'm going to do this because I know it's who I am. And if it doesn't turn out the way I expect, well, I know I'll still love myself. So therefore, then take the step. Perhaps one of the hinges in which much of what we share with you comes into play is simply being willing to shake that body, so to speak, to move in action through your reality and see what happens. Does that shift your orientation slightly?
Oh, yeah. It also shows me what I need to look at.
No. It shows you what you may wish to look at, but you don't need anything. You have everything you could possibly need in any given moment. You always know what you need to know, when you need to know it. Now you get the joy to discover removing the last conditions you have placed upon yourself. You have earned your self-love. All of you. Do not settle for anything less. What you call God, what we call all that is unconditionally loving. So any of your literature or any of your perspectives that speaks of God judging is creating God in the image of man/woman. For unconditional love cannot judge by definition. Judgment is the imposition of conditions which then, when not met, withdrawal of love. All that is does not do that. It is not even an option within all that is. However, you, each and every one of you, are the only ones with that option. No matter what you think of yourself, all that is will love you unconditionally. So there is no outside judging you on the inside. You are the outside. Everything is within you, and you are the only judge, or you are the only bequeather of forgiveness. Therefore, this is where your literature, in our particular opinion, gets a little bit filtered or altered from its original intent. Judgment is not a quality of God. Judgment is one of the options within the human experience. Unconditional love is the quality of all that is. Does that help?
It's wonderful. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Then I thank you as well. Sharing. Ismail, then you.
Oh, right here?
Nope. Over there.
That was you. Oh, okay. Hi, how you doing?
All right. Perfect. As are you.
I have a question. If the soul is all knowing, before we came into embodiment, what is it we're trying to arrive at, or why did we come into embodiment if we already has this all-knowingness and this greatness?
Because whatever existence does not forbid, it demands. Just because it is an option, because it is an experience, because it is one way that your infinite consciousness can express itself, and no other reason. Many individuals will buy into the growth of your soul, but as I have shared, your soul already contains everything. Where's it going to grow? How does infinite get any bigger? The idea is, within that infinity, there are options of experience. This being, again, a very unique option. When you come, quote unquote, down, you forget this. But I am reminding you. Therefore, need not be any more mysterious than just because it is there, and as I have said more specifically, so that you can experience discovery, experience learning, experience surprise. Does that make sense?
Yes. And what is this about? As you grow, you get closer to the God, the one that the all that is.
That is a human-made perspective. For understand, you are all that is. There is no separation. All that is, and the reason we prefer to call it all that is because it is all that is. It leaves nothing out. So what you explore, one of the ways you explore finite reality, is to impose again a sense of amnesia that actually allows you, and this is the exception, not the rule, to temporarily seem to forget that you are already connected to all that is, or God. And when you begin to express that connection, the first thing that comes along with that knowingness is that you were never disconnected. It was impossible to be disconnected. And you do not need any external expression to express a connection that you can never be disconnected from. It is simply a matter of acknowledgement. And rather than seeing if you are connected to all that is, you simply begin to explore how you are connected. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Mail.
All right.
Hey.
Greeting.
And to you.
It's good. It's actually my honor to speak to you again, maybe for the first time, I guess.
Right. Mine as well.
And also to be in a room of new faces to myself. It's happy to see that. People listening to the digest.
All right. Also, allow your gift to be shared. Project that voice of yours.
All right.
Oh, thank you. You sound like you mean it.
Thank you. I have one question that just came to mind. It has to do with more of a physical, I guess, astronomy question about our planets in our galaxy.
All right.
Are they aligned right now?
Well,
In a straight fashion.
that is completely arbitrary from where you are viewing it.
All right.
From one perspective, they are always aligned from some point of view. In perhaps the way that you mean of a direct linear alignment from your central star, no.
Oh, that's funny. I came up with that awareness. Somebody told me that.
Well, again, there are different definitions of alignment, and there is always a type of interrelationship alignment. So a particular expression of alignment there is, but straight across the board, no.
And what does it matter? I was thinking about it because as far as timing.
Before you proceed, it does matter because you care about it. Do not minimize what you are exploring. It is quite exciting.
Well,
Are you perhaps getting to the fact of explaining some of your seismological events?
Well, that was definitely a question, and I'm sure somebody else is. I don't know.
The idea is what you are now experiencing upon your planet as seismological phenomena are not quite caused by that particular type of alignment. It is more, shall I say, an equalization of certain energies and pressures within your planet itself that may have some relationships to the gravimetric fields of other planets, but is more directly related to your own planet and most directly related to the transforming consciousness both individually and en masse upon your planet.
I feel as far as timing and trusting in timing is what we're talking about here tonight. And that's very important to me. And I pick that up a lot as far as physical aspects, that are going on. And I include our little universe here, our little galaxy. And that was of interest to me.
All right.
Other than that, since the last time I was in this group with you, I've had to trust in timing quite a bit.
All right. You will find when a subject comes up, you create a multiplicity of opportunities and circumstances to really prove it to yourself.
Yeah, so here I am, and I'm still here, and I definitely still trust in the timing of some of my intentions. I've done a lot of work on this, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm very intent and I know that I will get what I want.
That is all it takes. Now, are you now, in this moment, here and now, the only place and time, allowing yourself to glean the unique advantage of this moment?
Yes.
Then simply continue to do so. You're on a roll.
Right. I'm really just enjoying life. I'm amazed at the synchronicity of things.
Well, as you begin to acknowledge the synchronicity, it will amaze you. For again, it takes into consideration the infinite universal knowledge, which may seem baffling to the finite point of view. But you can revel in it, and your willingness, again, to acknowledge the synchronicity, to acknowledge the perfection of the timing, then amplifies your experience of that amazing set of circumstances and coincidences. So, acknowledging synchronicity, being aware of synchronicity, continues to bring to your awareness more synchronicity.
Right. So I have no more questions.
Well, thank you for answering your own question. Ice.
It's wonderful to touch base with you in this style again.
All right, base. All right. We do not have a base in your quadrant, but I understand what you mean.
Are you on your scoutcraft?
Ice.
Is there anyone else with you?
No.
Are you on the projection table?
You would consider that I am again lying in a state of repose upon a particular table that you might refer to as a projection table, yes.
I'm enjoying an abundance of synchronous timings.
All right.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm learning to allow everything and everyone. I'm learning to allow everything and everyone an equal right to be. Sometimes it's not as easy as others, but...
Well, it will be. But your trust, again, particularly in the timing, and then seeing that you get what you want, perhaps begins to make it feel, again, more and more effortless.
Yeah, I like that you get what you want from tonight.
Then take it, it's yours, and it's free. You can all have it.
I was wondering, there's a man named Deepak Chopra, who's becoming extremely popular, and a lot of people are listening to him, and he's helping a lot of people. My husband is listening to him, so I hear what my husband's listening to. And
you are referring to a particular individual upon your planet that is referred to in the term of medical doctor, that is beginning to entertain, shall I say, a more expanded point of view of the role and nature of your consciousness, and again, in a very literal sense, acknowledging that your body, even your physical body, exists within your consciousness and not the other way around. This particular individual, in assuming that particular, shall I say, title or role, gets a degree of respect from individuals, again, in your society that may not be willing to embrace extraterrestrials and other dimensional beings and what you call individuals from the spirit realm, and therefore provides the service of being a buffer and allowing much of this information, very similar to the information that we share, to be more acceptable by many other members of your society. So he represents a gradient expression now, again, once that individuals in your society are willing and eager and curious to begin to entertain the degree of your personal power.
My question was, as I listen to him, I know he is expanding people tremendously, but at the same time, he falls short of your.
One moment. At the same time, his truth is from a different perspective.
Yeah, right.
Now, is there a particular aspect of his truth that you wish to discuss from my perspective?
No, I feel that
His truth is perfect, by the way, for the individuals that attract it. Flawless.
I see that. I see that, but his truth is less expanded than yours. And my question is,
Not really, but proceed. I'll let you get away with it.
my question is, when will larger numbers of people be willing to accept your version of?
This is what I mean by gradient expression. One thing at a time. Begin to accept the fact that perhaps, just perhaps, you can walk and you will begin to desire to run. It is, perhaps you can say in that sense, automatic. It is a perfect expression for the individuals that attract it that are simply not ready or willing to hear anything else. And therefore, again, when individuals begin to embrace an expanded point of view from where they seem to be exploring, they get hungry. But it is not necessary that anyone embrace our point of view. It is only something that if you choose to experience, you can live, you can do, and you will attract individuals, many of them who may seem to now be ready to expand a bit more from any particular truth, and you can facilitate them to do so. That is all. But first and foremost, by validating the other truth, the other reality, his right and reason, and perfect timing.
I'm not invalidating.
I understand.
But I find your concepts work so well.
All right. But the concepts of this individual work just as well for the individuals who are exploring and entertaining them. And again, are the only thing that they are ready to explore.
I better not say that.
Now, 'tis up to you. Am I being too insistent?
No.
All right.
I feel that the thoughts that I'm using, having learned your perspective, are working better than his thoughts are working for my husband.
Well, that is, again, not really your business. Your business is what is working for you. His business is what is working for him. So perhaps, just perhaps, I am only pointing this out, you are not completely validating his right and reason.
Yes, I am.
Oh, all right.
Yes, I am. Actually, my question was really, how long before large numbers of people will welcome these concepts?
This is a variable type of idea that fluctuates at best, but perhaps as a perspective analogy, this can take, upon the face of your timeline, this can become apparent within the next 10 of your years and can take up to 50 of your years to seem to be completely global. Now, I am not saying this to discourage you. I am saying this to simply understand that your experience of what I am saying can be immediate.
Yeah.
And that is all that matters to you. It is not a contest.
Yeah.
It is a series of timings. And their time cannot come any time before it is ready to occur. And your timing will attract enough individuals around you to keep you company.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm enjoying my writing tremendously, continuing your help.
All right. You are the one always doing the action. We simply revel in many of your choices. Allow me at this timing, in sensing perhaps a degree of overload, to, in that sense, have a short break of 10 to 15 of your minutes. We will resume contact at that timing. All right, I'll say, before we continue, allow me to say, though we have mentioned that perhaps en masse, perhaps in a global sense, it may be many years before you seem that all of your planet becomes oriented toward positive transformation. This by no means is meaning in any way to assume that you cannot immediately feel the effects of personal transformation, and through your participation in personal transformation, you can literally accelerate the timing of the mass transformation. Now, there are many different forms that transformation will take. It will always fundamentally emanate or begin or initiate from your consciousness from within. But there are many different, shall I say, footprints, many different expressions of the transformation of consciousness. One of them is what you would call your weather, for your weather is simply an expression of the emotional body of your mass consciousness, so to speak, and very many other of what you would call the changes that occur upon your planet are not separate from you, are expressions of transformation. Certain individuals will, in that sense, choose to transform smoothly, transform effortlessly. Other individuals, perhaps you can say, far more choose to live, perhaps in one way, an exciting type of tumultuous transformation. You may understand, though you are seeing the occurrence of many, shall I say, tumultuous occurrences upon your planet, seemingly packed very densely into one time frame. There are many different ways, as I have said, many different truths on how to interpret this. One of the ways of interpret it that we have become aware of through, again, members of your society and particular points of view is that you are going, as you say, to hell in a handbasket. Another way that individuals will choose to create this is the end is nigh. These individuals will possibly experience a version of this, for again, you always get the results of the reality you are creating. However, there are other truths, other orientations, other ways to look at the exact same set of circumstances. You may understand that as you do shift and change, so does your planet. Your planet is alive. Your planet is not merely a hunk of rock floating in space, just happening to spin at a particular velocity, just happening to occupy an intelligent orbital path, that is. You may understand that it too is a consciousness, is an expression. So therefore you will see from time to time certain outbursts, certain types of physical results that occur. And if you will simply understand that as this occurs, obviously certain individuals are experiencing it by proxy, experiencing it at a distance, experiencing it, perhaps you can say colloquially, on television. You may understand that there are many different ways to experience and explore these changes. Certain individuals, needless to say, choose to literally live on the edge. But these individuals are also creating their reality. Many of them consciously as well as many of them unconsciously. One of the things that we discussed at the beginning of this interaction is that you only ever exist right here and right now. And what is right here and right now is really all there is. If you will define yourself from what is here, what is now, you will expand yourself to the many possibilities of what is available to you. If you define yourself in the here and now, according to the there and then, your history, you can experience an effect that it seems right here and now that you are at, shall I say, the imprisonment of your history. However, that is only a perspective. Anything that has occurred in your past has absolutely no effect on you right here and right now until you say that it does, act that way, and then, of course, the evidence comes along that this seems to be so. Therefore, on some level, as you create the many levels that you exist upon, individuals who will not consciously look at themselves as existing in the here and now and still strongly identify with the past, still know that they do exist right here and now, still sense that there is a transformation taking place, and again, perhaps on a more knowing level, understand that a quote-unquote breaking of the shackles of the past is the only way they can drive themselves, force themselves into the here and now. This is one of the reasons that what you are calling some of your cataclysmic seeming events are having what you call minimal loss of life, but maximal loss of belongings, maximal loss of vestiges and remnants of the past that many people use to continue to limit themselves in the present. So from an all-knowing, all-seeing perspective, individuals will actually force themselves to literally disintegrate, destroy, as you say, many of these, and I will phrase this purposely this way, excuses for moving on, excuses for living now. So this is just one of many of the overall general reasons that you are seeing individuals seemingly losing their belongings, losing their heirlooms, losing their chests, their memoirs, but keeping their lives and being very, very, very literally thrust into the here and now, for all that stuff is no longer available. Now, needless to say, at least at this timing, you are not creating your reality in forcing yourself to disavow a hold that your past may have upon you. And one of the reasons for this is because you are giving yourself the choice to consciously do so rather than forcing yourself to see it in no uncertain terms. Your willingness to understand that though past events may seem to lead to a present event, that your present is no longer bound or a direct result of your past experientially, allows you to stop using your past as an excuse. You are who you are right now. Whatever happened, quote, back then, happened, is over with. If it seems to enter into the now, it is because you let it in, and you are not experiencing what happened then. You are recreating a version, which is very often quite different from the original circumstance, that applies to the things that you are exploring right now. Therefore, along those lines, you may understand the present need not be a result of the past experientially. You can simply choose to create yourself how you prefer to be right now. Because the past is not an experience, but only a notion, only a concept, you can even, if you wish to play this game, create whatever past you would have needed to have to be the person you wish to be right now. And you would be doing nothing different from what you are already doing with quote-unquote your real past. But again, I remind you, what you are remembering is not precise. You are a different person. You have different knowledge. You have an expanded awareness. You know more. Therefore, who you were, quote unquote, back then could not have had the same experience you are having now, dragging this past into the present. Therefore, simply by seeing what's available, by sticking to the criteria we discussed at the beginning of this interaction, when a seeming past comes up, ask yourself, can I act upon this right now? And if the answer's no, just like you pushed your clear intention aside, push the past aside. When you do, you will again see, you will unobstruct your vision as to what's right here and now, the unique advantage of the moment. Figured I'd throw that in. I thank you, and once again, open up this interaction to sharing. Ace, female.
Hi, Lon.
Greetings.
It was so wonderful to connect with you again. It's been a long time.
Ace, well, we have in that sense often stated that we connect on many levels. You consider this level that we are speaking, so to speak, to be the conscious level. But we exist and we, shall I say, experience the many other levels that we create as we expand and interact with you as well on those levels. So, pleasant dreams.
I did have a dream about you right before I received a phone call about this interaction. So that's why I'm here.
All right, we figured we'd phone ahead.
And this is a great topic.
Oh, thank you. They all are.
There's a lot of things that I want and I'm very excited about that are happening in the future. One is, remember I went to Italy last summer, and I'm supposed to be going to Switzerland in March, and I've changed my mind. I'm not going to finish the rest of the program, but now I want to go to Machu Picchu in August.
Are you trusting the change?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I already have my plane ticket purchased to go to Switzerland, finish the program, and I've already paid the tuition. You remember that $10,000 I needed? And I don't want to go anymore. I've done what I needed to do. I'm not excited anymore. So I'm trusting. I want to go with the shaman to Machu Picchu. I really am very excited. So I'm going to do that.
Now, as I have said, you wanted to go and now no longer want to go. So are you really missing anything?
I guess I'm not, but I'm still have a little hesitant that I should finish this. Some, I'm a little hesitant.
Should, all right. You should finish this. According to whom?
I don't know.
According to everyone knows you shouldn't leave loose ends dangling, or according to who you know yourself to be?
Right, that's true.
All right. Therefore, you have allowed me to illustrate a very important point. If your excitement shifts, if something no longer excites you, that is because whatever you have done because you were excited about it has already delivered to you everything you need. So, as well as I am asking you or suggesting that you may trust your excitement, trust when the excitement shifts. You need not feel in that sense that it is loose ends. Sometimes that's how a stepping stone will fall. And by, in that sense, not concentrating on what no longer excites you, but now seeing what now excites you, you're back on, shall I say, the path that you are, so to speak.
Right. Thank you. That shifted my consciousness. That was good.
By the way, again, the everyone knows this and that is simply assuming that there is an everyone out there, but everything's within you. Do proceed.
Okay. So that's in the future. And then my intention is to move to Atlanta, Georgia, to be with my boyfriend. And that's also in the future. So I'm not excited about being in this present moment right now.
Ah, why not?
Because it's boring.
So you are not assuming the perspective of exploring, of examining the unique opportunities and advantages of the moment. How does that feel?
It's true. I'm not. I don't see them.
Do you wish to continue to do that?
No, it's just concerning.
All right. Do you understand that it is as simple as reminding yourself, wait a minute, this moment perhaps is not the only extraneous moment in my life. Perhaps there is a unique advantage in this moment. A matter of fact, that is my foundation, that there is a unique advantage in each moment. So rather than looking at what is not there, push that aside. What is there? It can seem from time to time like of the options, these options are all quite mundane. Well, I could take a walk. I could watch TV. Down to that level. But if you even choose from those options the most exciting one, which may in the scheme of your excitement not seem that exciting, but is the most exciting from what's available, then you will begin to roll back into being able to see and appreciate each moment. It's simply, again, a matter of taking that step, taking that leap, trusting that here are very relatively unexciting things, but one still stands out as being more exciting. I will trust that degree. And then taking the step, not just the mentalizing, but taking the step, acting according to the most exciting one. Are you willing to take that step? This is where you are, quote unquote, hanging up.
Right. Yes.
All right. Does the moment seem a little bit more exciting?
Yes.
Do you experience a delicious anticipation now that you are willing to not let one moment slip by?
Yes.
Ah, not as sure. All right.
Well,
Frustration
yes.
is not being in the moment.
Right.
That is all it is. It is assuming something is better than the moment.
Right.
The posture of assuming that something is better in the moment is just the same thing as putting a blindfold onto that moment. So that is a perspective that you are actively participating in. There is something better. Push that aside.
Okay.
Then you will find that blindfold perhaps becomes sunglasses, eventually prescription lenses. Do you understand the analogy?
Yes.
All
I
right.
have to take that long that it has to go from sunglasses. Can I?
No. Simply being cute, as you said. The idea is it can be quite quick,
Okay.
but it does effectually seem to put on blinders to assume there is something better. Assuming something better is the action, is the orientation of not looking at what's there. What is out there that you like is just as good as what is there. It is simply operating from an assumption.
And then trusting the timing when, because it doesn't feel like the right timing yet to move down there.
All right. Now, understanding that and knowing it will occur beyond the shadow of a doubt, do you choose to mope around from now till then, or do you choose to drink deeply from what's there? It is boiling down to that.
Right. Okay.
Does this help?
Yes, it does. And I knew this. I just needed, thank you for mirroring this for me in my life.
All right. Is there anything else that you wish to expand upon?
And yes, this one thing, I guess it's on the subject, but remember my future self, Aliota?
No. Just kidding. Your future self would correspond to one of my present contemporaries.
Right.
Of course. Before you proceed, timing. You always know what you need to know when you need to know it. You always have everything you need when you need it. Therefore, if something is not present, that is just as much an answer than if it is.
Okay.
If you are interacting with me and for some reason I were not to give you an answer, that is your answer.
So you're not going to give me an answer?
The idea is you will find as you actively engage in your moment-to-moment reality, that connection will be more realized because that is her perspective. You identify more strongly with her by acting as her, while still maintaining your own unique version.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And does that answer the question?
Yes.
Oh.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, you think so?
No, it does. It does.
Oh, all right.
Okay, that's...
We thank you. Male.
Yes, Elan.
Ace.
I'm a little confused about past.
Ah, confusion.
Hello.
Very healthy.
I worked with a fellow today, and he had a guilt about something that happened in a past life.
Well, all right, if you say so.
So,
He is recreating an emotion that he is ascribing to a once or twice removed source, but he is creating any guilt that he is experiencing in the moment and can only experience the creation of guilt if right here, right now, he is not unconditionally loving himself, regardless of any label he ascribes to it.
exactly what I came up with.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
I thank you.
The
Perhaps you will sit up here next time.
in the session we did address that about unconditional love for himself,
All right.
and the letting go of the judgments that he had about the past.
Now you hit, as you say, the nail on the head. What an archaic reference. Letting go, which implies that he is holding on.
Yes.
Judgment does not hold on to you, has no power over you. You, not you personally, but you know what I mean,
Yes.
you, when you do so, hold on with clutching death grip to your own judgment. And therefore, releasing is far simpler than having to bat it away, letting go, through the reaffirmation of your unconditional self-love, through your insistence that you will accept nothing less from yourself. Do proceed.
So he had this recurring dream of something that happened in his past, and he kept bringing it bringing it back in dream form, and at night sleeping dream. So my question is, in that dream, is that something that's teaching him something? Or?
Well, ultimately, anything you experience has a lesson laced into it. Whether an individual is willing to act upon it will always be up to the individual. One of the options in anything that you refer to as recurring in the dream state always allows the individual the option to approach that seemingly recurring situation in another way. So therefore, as your ancient American Indians will say, when you have a recurring dream of a bear chasing you, when you decide to turn around and face that bear, you have done something different. And therefore, we'll often find that what is staring you in the face is not a bear, but is a notion from within you, a child from within you, allowing you to identify something that you are now willing to reconcile. Do you understand?
Yes.
Therefore, can you be more specific in sharing the symbology of the recurring dream? What is the dream?
The dream, he was in a war, and they attacked his ship, and a lot of ships, and there was flames, and he had to abandon ship, and he was on a raft, and others were in the water and were burnt and were killed, and he felt that he felt guilty.
Why?
Well,
did he burn them or kill them?
Well, some of them they had to push off the raft, I guess. In his dream, I mean, he was pretty graphic about it. They had to push them off the raft because they had died, or they wouldn't make it, whatever. But he felt guilty that he survived and they did.
Ah, all right. Do understand that this is the imposition of conditions. Obviously, he survived. Obviously, they did not. Now, his willingness to be responsible for himself will simply allow him to see that this occurs in your world. His insistence on needing to be responsible for them, which is truly not even possible, for they have their choices and their reality, is perhaps where he is hanging up. Now, another way to look at this is, given a similar set of circumstances, what would he do now? And in questioning him to this degree, you may find that certain, shall I say, choices that he would make would differ now. That is all that he can be responsible for. What he would do now, not what was done then. So allow him to explore how he would handle that now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that assist you?
Yes. Now, he has an illness. He has a liver disease. And it's my opinion that disease drew him to me. And we had this session that in this session, of course, I asked him to forgive himself and to allow the people that died to be okay that they chose to die. It wasn't nothing that he could do about it. And after learning that, he could now heal the liver disease.
And what occurred?
Well, we did a meditation, and he felt like that's just what he did.
All right.
The thing now is, of course, how do you get off the medicine? So that's up to him and his doctors.
Well, that is up to him, his doctors, and any other feedback that he will attract.
I guess. So it's a very rewarding, and it's funny that you brought up this about. Well, it's not funny. You do it all the time.
Oh, thank you.
Bringing up this tonight about letting go of those fears and stuff, or being in the now.
One of the mechanisms with which you can act on releasing judgment, self-judgment, judgment toward others, which is a form of self-judgment, is what you call forgiveness, which, as your literature says, is divine in the aspect that it takes into consideration that the reality exists within you, that everything is a valid exploration, that all truths are true. Always gets back to these concepts. They can always be used in this way.
I see the connection.
Oh, thank you. Now use them if you wish. I do not insist that you have too much fun or have too much of an ecstatic life. It is up to you. But share them, be responsible to him and not for him. Then you will be an example of that mechanism as well. He will make his choices and you can interact and assist to whatever degree you are able. But you cannot make his choices for him, just as he was not able to make the choices of the others in the aforementioned circumstance. So show him an example of that in your own interaction with him, if you wish.
I have one more question.
All right.
I had my hand smashed in a car door.
All right.
I sunset the door and my hand smashed all my fingers. Something told me it was okay. I just pulled the fingers out, shook it off, and it was done.
Did you picture broken fingers or fixed ones?
Fixed one.
You will often find when individuals create pain, they then assign that portion of their body with a vision or view of that portion in a diseased state. And in a sense, this is one of the initiating forces to create the diseased state. I suggest, as you have demonstrated, that when you feel physical pain, when you feel a unpleasant sensation, that is an opportunity. Well, how is that an opportunity, you ask? I'll tell you. Because that allows you to direct very specifically your intention to that area, but you have the option of doing so by picturing that area in whatever your version of that portion, so to speak, of your being as perfect. And you will find when you ascribe to pain a diseased counterpart, you will create a diseased counterpart. When you use pain to pinpoint where to picture perfection, where to picture a perfectly functioning organ, for instance, then you can create that effect very specifically guided to that area. And this is one of the mechanisms that individuals create what you call disease through, what you call visualizing, taking for granted that the part is diseased, simply using pain as the evidence. Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
Therefore, if it hurts, picture it well. If it still hurts, go to the doctor. Now, I say this jokingly, but understand that you will function through your most bought into belief system. And often, if you believe that that is the only way that you will reconcile a particular situation, attracting that symbol can allow you to reconcile it and then take back the power and begin to take the steps to understand that even the doctor is only a symbol. The doctor says, do this, do this, do that, and it will get better. You believe him. You give the power, or her. You give the power to that symbol, but you do the healing, basically using that as an excuse. But at least acknowledge what your strongest belief system is. You will often find in doing what I have shared in terms of picturing the part, again, colloquially part of your body as perfection, that the pain will subside, that the sensation will immediately decide, and the going to the doctor, so to speak, option will not be necessary. But continue to acknowledge what you do believe. That is the only way to change any belief, or express a different belief is to acknowledge the belief you already have. So thank you for allowing me to illustrate that.
Can that work so much on a broken bone in the body?
Well, yes, once you understand and express the belief that it does. But this is a belief that many individuals will agree upon is unlikely. And so you, in that sense, get the opportunity to get in touch with if you believe it or not.
Something like on Star Trek.
What do you mean? I do not watch Star Trek.
The guy, the new generation, he broke a bone, and she puts a machine on it and did a little bit of light. Next thing you know, it's all fine.
One moment. Allow me to access this from another point of view. From my perspective, yes, that light instrument would be the symbol in which the individual used to heal themselves, yes.
So that's possible.
Absolutely. Anything is.
Well, thank you.
But the question is, what will you choose from the multiplicity, the infinity of possibilities? Choice enters in. This is creatorhood. Creatorhood is no longer saying life happens to me. Creatorhood is accepting and embodying and insisting that life happens through me and from me. And that is a choice. Each one is.
Elan,
Oh, another last question. Proceed.
it's okay.
Nice.
In transforming self, will I go through more body changes, or the word I'm thinking of is
Pain. Allow me to say, transformation does not result in what you call physical pain. Resistance to transformation does. So simply look at where you are resisting your change and dive into it. And you will also find that to be a perspective in transforming pain. You don't get rid of pain anyway, you transform it. You can't get rid of it. Where will you put it? Your everything.
it's not so much pain; it's the vibration or the heartbeat almost.
You understand what I am saying? It is the fear of pain, ultimately.
Okay.
Nice.
Elan?
All right. I thank you. Ace, female.
Hello.
Greetings.
Wonderful to meet you. This is my first time with you, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh, thank you. It is my first time as well, and I am ecstatic.
Thank you very much. I wanted to find out from you how I can reach that part of my consciousness that is holding on to a series of blood clots in my feet and my lower legs, where I have very poor circulation. And I understand what you said earlier about picturing how you'd like your physical body to look.
Now, you understand this, but what have you been doing? Do you not have a strong definitional vision of these clots?
Yes, I do. And
That is what perpetuates it.
And I'd like to know why I have that perpetual vision of the clots.
Well, simply because no one has told you there is an alternative, first of all. And now you are attracting a mirror to allow yourself to reflect that there is, first of all. Second of all, though you may appear to be a collection of parts, you are truly a whole integrated being. Your willingness to acknowledge yourself as one whole being rather than a collection of parts allows you access to your wholeness and does not cut off the flow. Once you create parts, you then create a responsibility to have to connect to all these parts as though they are separate. So first of all, envisioning yourself as a whole, in your meditative state, envisioning yourself as one complete sphere of energy, non-differentiated. And secondly, when you feel a sensation that you have heretofore ascribed as a clot, as a block, to understand that you can now create your version of healthy vessel, healthy artery, healthy vein, and replace that, you will immediately immediately begin to feel things you have not felt in a long time and to understand how nothing is holding you. You are perpetuating something. You need not partition yourself off while making yourself into parts and then ascribe that a part has control over you. Simply release it and think in terms of flow rather than stoppage.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for your timing. Ismail.
Okay. I also have another question concerning using the Ouija board.
All right.
Can you talk about that a little bit as far as information coming through and how safe it actually is to use it?
Anything is as safe as you ascribe. Setting up a protection in that sense is the assumption of an imminent attack. So it is the same as saying you believe an attack would be most likely. You can simply transform this attitude into understanding the following. You can only, by definition, experience a reality that you are the vibration of. Therefore, if you are unconditionally loving, if you express that love and light, only can you experience that particular reality. And what you call negative circumstance becomes somewhat blind to that, especially with an absolute insistence on maintaining it and labeling anything, no matter what somebody's intention is, first as neutral and then as how it serves you rather than what is happening to you. So understand there need not be a protection. There is no imminent attack. You will only attract through whatever symbol, that particular symbol simply being one removed symbol that individuals will trust to allow others' forms of consciousness to communicate to come through. Simply clarify your intention, and what you would call safety becomes a moot point. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. I feel that the vibration I'm at would not have, I wouldn't have a problem with that in any way.
Then no matter what comes through, simply accept it to the degree that it serves you and to the degree that it does not assume that it has the right and reason to exist for someone else.
Okay.
And have a good time. Over there, female.
Elan, I want to ask,
All right, speak up so that all may share your gift.
right now, I'm in a position at work where I feel to stay would be to condone another person's truth other than mine.
All right.
But the struggle I'm having is that if I leave, it's I don't know if I'm giving up or creating a situation that will have to be replayed or something. There's a part of me that's saying that.
All right, before you proceed,
Mhm.
why would you need to replay it? Are you avoiding something, or are you simply moving towards something more representative of who you choose to be?
Well, there's nothing beyond this. If I let go of this, I don't see anything beyond it.
Is what you're doing exciting you?
No,
Is it supporting you?
no.
All right. What do you have to lose?
Okay.
What does excite you? By the way, that is what is beyond. You get to honor and begin to explore what does excite you, what moves you. If you had a magic lamp and rubbed it and got a wish, what would you do?
Energy work.
All right. Very exciting. Very holistic. Very honoring of the energy in each and every individual. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Do you sense that this can support you?
No.
Ah. Perhaps then you would not have a good time. Why not? Now, what you are doing now, does it in some sense support your lifestyle?
Yes.
So doing what does not excite you has supported you, yes?
Yes. Yes.
Does it make sense that something more representative of who you are would be less likely to support you or more likely to support you in proportion to the degree of that it is an expression of who you are? What makes sense?
Intellectually, it makes sense that to do what excites me would.
Ah, collection of parts again. Imagine what it would feel like if you were doing what it is you say you wish to do and it was supporting you. Make believe.
There would be joy.
Can you feel that? Imagine what it would feel like and describe it to me.
Okay, I feel it through my whole body. It's like a,
Is it pleasant?
yeah, very pleasant.
Ah, now you have done two things. Oh, intellectually you understand that, and emotionally you have created that particular understanding as well, yes?
Yes.
I will share a little secret with you that is no secret at all. The only way you were able to feel it was that you must, in that moment, have been it. And that was very simple, was it not?
Yes.
That is all there is to it.
So it's okay to just let go of this.
Well, again, if there is something you are seeming to avoid, look at it by all means. Nothing can destroy you.
I think that's what it is. I don't know.
If it is not obvious that you are avoiding something, assume you are not. Do not create layers of complexity. If you are avoiding something, it will be completely obvious.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You have done it all. I am simply sitting here, so to speak.
Elan,
Ace, male.
me.
Ace.
Hi, Elan.
Yeah.
Try that again, as you say.
Hello, Elan.
A little better.
Hi, Elan.
The you that loves and respects yourself. Greeting a being from another planet. How do you sound?
Greetings, my dear friend.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to start out by thanking you for that little exercise or that visualization or suggestion that you gave me of imagining how the me that loves myself would act. Because by imagining that and then acting that way, I've significantly improved the fulfillment that I get in the interactions with my mother and other family members.
You mean to tell me that this stuff works?
It works.
Now, prior to doing this, you performed an action. Did we not, in your discussions, did you not assume that no matter what your perspective is, your, for instance, mother would continue to berate you as your siblings, yes?
Yes, I did.
Did you not prove to yourself that you could not change them, but by shifting your perspective, they interact with the shifted you?
It's true.
Did they not seem to change miraculously?
They did change, and
Oh.
it did seem miraculous.
Was it hard or simple?
No, it was really pleasurable. There, I found a lot more satisfaction than I've ever found there before.
Ah,
And now I'm looking forward to seeing her, which is something
ah. I thank you. I thank you for your willingness not to do something that I have said, but to honor yourself and allow others the gift of who you are.
new. Thank you.
Now proceed with the but.
Well,
I know this one quite well.
there's two general areas: women and career. And
Both of which we've discussed, but do proceed.
okay, I met last year. I briefly dated this woman who, when we separated, I felt a much higher level of anxiety than I would have expected from someone that I did. I felt we wouldn't be together in a long-term way. And
All right. Now, when was this?
it was last May.
All right. So this was perhaps a different you.
Yes.
All right. Proceed.
But then we got together again last weekend, and knowing that just as friends, but even after I left her, I felt it was really, I didn't really quite understand. It's just so sad. It's like someone really important had been taken away from me, but
Taken away
or whatever.
by whom?
I don't know. That's what I went home and I cried.
Do you desire to interact with this individual?
I don't.
Yes or no?
Maybe. I mean,
Oh,
as a friend,
maybe.
it's not so much the thing that what I do desire is to have a fulfilling relationship or a marriage with a woman, and I want to get through all the remaining beliefs in that area that don't serve me. And I thought this might have been indicating some kind of belief in there about my inadequacy without a woman or something like that.
It still indicated to you that in that moment, you are not completely being the you that loves yourself. For what you have expressed as a loss presumes that you are not complete and that something can be lost. Simply a tap on the shoulder, a reminder. Now, the you that loves yourself, placing that you, I understand this is hypothetical and we do not generally do this, but placing you in that situation, what does that you experience when that individual leaves?
Peace, because I trust that I'll have everything I want.
Do you really feel that as I am suggesting it?
Well, I'd have to work on that a little.
Oh, if you have to work on it, you are not expressing the you that loves you, you are hypothesizing. The you that already loves you. Feel that you, imbue yourself with that you, and describe to me, again, how that you feels when that individual leaves boldly, with conviction.
I would feel that,
One moment. I do feel that, not I would. You are still removing and creating the you that loves you as being separate from the you are.
I do feel that she's my sister, and that whether or not we're together, that we'll both have everything that we need.
How does that feel when you are saying it?
It feels better because, you know, I think it makes me realize part of the underlying fear was that I might not have what I want in terms of a relationship.
You get what you want if you say so. Now, how does that feel?
It feels better. It feels better.
Oh, think of the years of psychotherapy that you have said.
I've already been through years of it.
All that groping for the hidden beliefs behind every door. The you that loves you releases these beliefs, does not assume there is something in the way. There are no interruptions. You are the path. You cannot be off yourself.
Well, I really want that, to have that relationship, and it's beautiful to feel that I'll have it. I just kind of maybe feel a little bit like it's not happening fast enough.
Not trusting the timing. All right, that's one of the reasons you are here. In this instance, utilize the reminder that you get what you want. See how that feels, and then push it aside, dive back into the moment. That is all I can say in terms of direct approach. But when you do that, you will continue to create the you that loves you. For the you that loves you will settle for nothing less.
My concern is that in bringing this relationship about, I may have to go through some more painful interactions with women to surface beliefs that I'm not aware of.
Does the you that loves you choose this route?
No, but it's...
Why do you assume that you must do so? Why are you imposing a no pain, no gain philosophy? It's just something you are choosing to do. It is the imposition of a condition. Release it. You love yourself. You get what you want. What excites me from what's available? Act on it with integrity. Period.
Well, there's a woman I dated 4 years ago that I loved, and I haven't called back. She broke up with me. I haven't called back because I was afraid she would reject me. But I had some guidance last week that I should learn to enjoy my life now, because if I can't enjoy it now the way it is, I'll never learn to enjoy it. So I was thinking, well, she's someone I still care for, so maybe I should give her a call.
Well, by all means, however, no matter what another individual intends for or toward you, in terms of acceptance and rejection, as you say, only will you feel rejected when you match that rejection, when you reject yourself. So when you call her, remember that.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, yes.
The you that loves you, calling her, will perhaps have more success, regardless of the outcome, than any other version of the you that you create. So that model, that preferential you,
yes,
is completely applicable in any situation. Not only, Elan said, use this with the family. All right. Works marvelously. Over here, what do? Apply the preferential you across the board. You will feel differently. You will present differently. You will elicit different responses. And no matter what that response is, you will love yourself anyway, thereby not being able to lose anything, only being able to share and interact and co-create, but still never winding up with anything less than yourself.
What about this old belief that I'm incomplete without a woman? Is that a blockage to me having that relationship?
Allow me to use this as an example. You contain the belief that you are incomplete without someone else, yes?
Yes.
You contain the belief that you are complete without someone else, yes?
Yes.
Choose. It is not a matter of this belief, that belief, I have this one's in some other person's closet. You have them both. When you express that I am a person who can be incomplete, however, you act one completely disempowering way. When you express the person who believes you are complete, you hold your head differently, you breathe differently, you lunge forward into your reality differently. So the only thing that determines one or the other is your actions. By using the referential, preferential you that loves yourself as what would that me do, you will always have the empowering actions. You do not contain one belief and not the other. You contain both. Now choose the one you wish to express. You're at that point in your exploration.
And that's the fastest way to bring what I want in the relationship?
That is one way to put it. Absolutely. The fastest, most accelerated way.
Okay. In terms of career, 4 months ago, I taught a seminar based mostly on the stuff I've learned from you. And I really enjoyed it. I got a lot of positive feedback from it. It went well. Since then, a lady who has a lot more experience in teaching seminars that I really respect has asked me to put seminars on.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
When will you do so?
Well, I'll get to that.
Are you there yet?
No,
Oh, all right.
almost.
Just checking.
And I put on I taught a class. I taught her class. She teaches a normal class 2 nights ago. And I'm used to speaking in AA meetings and stuff about my story and spiritual growth and stuff. And I feel very comfortable doing that usually, and it goes well. But I felt so bad about myself because I realized afterwards I think I was trying to act rather than help others, but I felt I did a bad job.
Now,
I felt terrible afterwards.
is that a format, therefore, allowing that situation to be of service to you, that you will wish to interact in, or was the original format that you set up far more conducive to express these ideas?
It was much more conducive. The focus
Therefore,
was
use, again, if you're going to create a history and chain yourself to it, use the lessons in that sense that it brings with it, and schedule your next interaction as it excites you, just like you did before.
Do you think it makes sense to work with this woman?
Do you, in light of what we have just discussed and
Yes.
the ideas that you have just derived?
Yes, it's an opportunity to share something that excites me.
All right. But perhaps on a limited basis at first.
Yes, exactly, because what I really want to do with my career is I'm more of a hands-on management, economic reform kind of person, and I'm looking for ways to do that. The stuff that you have, that I've learned from you has allowed me to create a space of time now where I don't have to work for a while because I have some money so I can look into other things. But I've been getting down on myself a little bit because I don't seem to be taking the kind of actions that will bring about more preferred work. And if I don't act, I'm going to wind up doing stuff that isn't really exciting to me.
All right. Bottom line, will you or won't you act?
Well,
Yes or no? No maybes.
Yes.
We already did that one. All right. Then schedule your next seminar. That is an action. Perform it. See where it leads you. And in a moment-to-moment consideration, what's right in front of you, what excites you, with integrity, act, and things will become more apparent. Do not sit still.
You mean stuff in addition to the seminar? Because I only see the seminar as a small part of my career.
Perhaps that will expand, but yes, I mean in addition to. In any given moment, you get what you want. There is a unique advantage in that moment. Find it. Act upon it. That is all. Nothing to be bored or frustrated about. All right?
Yes.
I thank you.
Elan.
Ace. Cecil.
Thank you. Greetings.
And to you.
Two questions. What is the future of crime in this country over the next 10 to 20 years?
Again, a prediction is simply a sensing of energy. It is nothing etched in stone. There are an infinite number of probable futures. But in this moment's sensing, to directly answer your question, you may find what you call escalation. You will find what you generally will refer to as public reaction. You will then find public taking back of responsibility. You will find unity in action and eventually begin to see a transformation due to the mass intolerance of this type of expression, but also will you then begin to introduce empowering philosophies, because individuals who so choose these types of violence and crime, as you say, do so from a sense of helplessness, always, no exceptions, no matter what they say, no matter how big the gun. This is from a disempowered perspective. So in an overall viewpoint, your willingness to walk as an empowered being gives that many more examples, that many more opportunities for disempowered individuals to see that it is possible. Beginning to institute this into your educational systems will eventually level this off, and it will transform altogether.
You're saying that our government is not really the answer.
You are your government. And when you get in touch with that fact and act that way, perhaps that will be one of the vehicles through which the answer will come, but not the only one. Personal involvement will be just as key.
You see a big change in our media, and I guess for the moment TV, as far as the violence that appears on TV.
Absolutely. Nice. You will find this to begin to tone down, but not through a forcing, through a choice, through an understanding, through having played out much of this idea and allow it to come to a conclusion. But it will still be available as an option peripherally. That is one of the explorations in a world containing polarity, positivity, negativity. But it will become more and more peripheral. There will be but a few moments remaining to this interaction. Male. Ice.
In the last session, you said that you can communicate with us through the circumstances of our lives.
Well, communications from me may take place through certain circumstances. Not that I consciously say, you will look here, you will do that. You have your complete free will. But if there is something I wish to communicate, if it is not received by you as a discrete thought communication, you may experience the understanding or glean the intention that I have through the synchronicity of your circumstance. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Another question. You've said that what we call doubt is an unswerving belief in something we don't prefer.
Well, in general, doubt is not a lack of trust. It is trust in the thing that you say you do not prefer in that situation. That is one way to look at it.
Okay. I think of a lot of my doubt as being a belief that something I don't prefer might happen, might possibly happen. For example, when I lock my doors at night, I think that maybe there's a 1% chance that somebody will try and break in if I don't. I just wanted to sort of reconcile that view that I have of doubt to your statement that it's a belief that something actually will happen.
Well, perhaps you can say might happen. In a sense, we are speaking semantics here.
Okay, I just wanted to...
It is the idea that a reality that you could prefer would even be possible to occur in your life, and that something that would occur in your life would be extraneous rather than absolutely that which would serve you. Now, if you are positively oriented, you will draw positive experiences as the reflection of that service, not negative. If you are beginning to view the possibility of the negative, that gives you the opportunity to hone in on where you may still be vibrating and, shall I say, expressing negative. It is all a mirror.
To be honest with you, if I lived in certain parts of the country, I'd definitely lock my doors.
All right. But would you not, in expressing who you are, allow yourself to, in that sense, attract yourself to an area that would be reflective of who you are? So why would you then find yourself in such an area?
Right. Okay.
All right.
Couple other quick questions. Would you say that you had mentioned tumultuousness, natural disasters, and whatnot? Would you say that there are more of them occurring now than at other times in the past? I've always sort of viewed it as being, sure, there's plenty of bad stuff happening, but there's always been bad stuff happening.
There are many cycles which would seem to be cyclical and take place on a certain time frame. Because they are all asynchronous or not exactly in concert, there are portions in a physical timeline where many of them will seem to overlap, again, from a cyclical explanation in one concentrated area of time or period of timing. But again, it is nothing that has not been happening. The reason that it would seem fundamentally to be occurring in the same time frame has to do again with the transformation of consciousness. So it is all interlaced. You cannot remove one from the other, unless you wish.
Okay. My last question is, if one were to form intentions that another person would change, would one be successful in having that come about?
It would be taking responsibility for them. It would be insisting that somehow, though you wish to be who you are, they should be someone else. They are who they are. Now, in changing yourself, you interact with them as the change, so to speak, the new choices self. And any other individual that you are interacting with, when you interact with them differently, you get a different response. So there may be the effect that they change when you change, but you cannot literally change them. Nor would that even be the point. Nor would it even be a goal, unless again you were assuming that they did not have the right and reason to be who they are. If you are assuming that they do not have the right and reason to be who they are, in order for that concept to exist in your universe on some level, you must believe that about yourself. So affording yourself, again, the unconditional love and the right and reason to exist as who you are will automatically have the effect of granting that to them as well. Does that make sense? Is it usable?
Yes, I'd say this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Smail.
As society seems to have sort of a homogeneous society, how long will it take us to get?
Well, again, what we are saying as the 30 to 50 of your year, shall I say, time frame, is what we are referring to much of that. Now, understand, we are only homogeneous in that we are synchronized to each other, that we understand each other, that we are linked, perhaps what you could say telepathically. But we are still quite individuals, believe me when I tell you. So you do not lose your individuality by granting validity to the diversity. You reinforce it. And many times it is the fear of the loss of individuality that does not allow individuals to grant that diversity. But it strengthens your individuality.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And lastly, over there, male.
Elan?
No. Robert.
Good evening, Elan.
And to you, greetings.
I don't have a specific question. I just wanted to
make a statement.
I just wanted to tell you that I am beginning to live your teachings and with incredible results.
Oh, first of all, you are beginning to live what you know to be true for you with quite credible results.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Particularly at work. You mentioned something before several months ago, which you said again tonight. And I wanted to reinforce that for anyone else who's not familiar with it. The fact that the timing, the fact that you cannot, if it's not happening the way you expect it to, it's because you can't appreciate how much better it will be for you.
Well put.
So I very much want to thank you.
On that note, there is nothing to be added. However, I understand that there are individuals out there who still have communications to make. This will not be our last interaction, but it need not be that your particular perspectives are addressed in an interaction such as this. You may allow it to be if you wish, but understand because you have the ability to understand anything I am saying. If you are hearing words come out of the mouth of the channel and making sense of them, you are only doing so because you contain all this information. I am simply reflecting back what you wish to now begin to entertain and wish to express. But if it were new, if you didn't contain it, you would not understand it. The channel's mouth would be moving and you would hear no words coming out that made any sense. What I am saying is you have the ability to access this information within you. For again, I remind you, I am simply a reflection from within you. Ask yourself these questions. Allow yourself to answer them to whatever degree you are willing from the most empowered perspective. If you still find you have a question, then we will discuss it with you on whatever level is necessary. But you contain it all. Trust your timing, if you wish. I thank you for your willingness to co-create your reality with me this evening of your time. I remain forever in what you call your dream reality. I remain forever an unconditionally loving posture to you and your society. And I thank you for the honor of representing me and my society. Good evening.